Like, they haven't even started climbing. How are you gonna make it there if you haven't even started? Which is another life lesson.
Do you ever want to bonk your friends in the head in hopes to give them a lobotomy in order to turn them into people who actually care about themselves and can get themselves out of good situations? Wait, bad situations? Or is that just me?
Anyways, today we're going to be talking about sucking. Hold your horses. Hold your horses. We are going to be talking about being bad at stuff, because you have to be bad at stuff before you get good at the stuff. So you have to suck. You know that, right? Before becoming a master, you have to first be a beginner, a rookie. That's just the price that we pay for everything we do well, honestly. And even if you were born, for example, with the gift of dancing and rhythm and being able to move rhythmically, you were also once like a babbling baby, waddling around, crawling around, not knowing how to carry out conscious, purposeful movement. And it's okay to suck at something before getting good at it, at least most things. It's not just for creative things though, but this is, I think, a statement for most things. It's just like with Cringe Mountain.
What you are forgetting is that everyone who is now cool or good at something has at some point had to climb Cringe Mountain. What is Cringe Mountain? So this little purple guy, that's you, right? And this is Cringe Mountain. And you have to walk up Cringe Mountain, and then you start descending into the land of cool. But you can't get to the land of cool without going over Cringe Mountain. Anyone who laughs at you for being cringe, they're looking up at you from here. They're looking up at you laughing. They haven't even started climbing. What do they have to say?
When Erica Mallet was talking about the concept of Cringe Mountain, it really, really stuck with me. So she basically says you have to climb Cringe Mountain in order to get to the Valley of Cool. The Valley of Cool to me is success, whether it be success in discovering myself and my artistic identity, using art as a viable self-care activity, or commercial success in being able to sell my art, and hopefully all three. But climbing Cringe Mountain is really hard work. It takes a long time and it bruises your ego because people will see you fail. People also includes yourself, by the way. But Erica was saying something that can really give you a lot of solace in that video. The people that are looking up at you climbing Cringe Mountain, who are not yet in the Valley of Cool or the land of cool, they have not even started climbing yet. It's like the analogy of the people who are criticizing you playing basketball on the court are not on the court. They're on the sidelines. They're in the bleachers. They're not actually doing the action. They're not the real players. They're just spectators with really no talent. But anyways, let's move on. Let's move on. Those people that are looking at you with like negativity and judgment, who think just because they're not being seen publicly failing and trying and failing and trying, that they are somehow better than you, those people are never going to make it to the land of cool. Like, they haven't even started climbing. How are you going to make it there if you haven't even started? Which is another life lesson. At this rate, if they keep doing what they're doing, hating, and you keep doing what you're doing, trying, you'll make it to the Valley of Cool or the land of cool.
You'll settle there, start a family, spend holidays with friends and family, start a retirement plan, retire, have grandchildren, move to a retirement community, and kick the bucket and then reincarnate just to do everything over again for another skill. And still see them at the foot of Cringe Mountain looking at the new climbers of Cringe Mountain.
A lot of times, though, for those that don't actually make art like they told themselves they would for many years, or those that don't share their creations, that don't really have, just people in general who don't really have an audience, naysayers like these actually don't really exist. And it's just you, honestly. If you don't really have an audience and you're an artist right now, you haven't put yourself out, you haven't showcased your things, showed other people, you're the naysayer. You're the people at the bottom of Cringe Mountain doing it to yourself. Crazy work, actually. But even if you have shown your stuff out and you have you have anxiety or this negative feeling of like, oh my gosh, they're gonna hate it, they don't like it, I only got 5 views, and like people hate my art, and you know, like I'm not making a change and I'm never gonna be successful and stuff like that. A lot of times what we do is we make up potential critics of our work and potential critics of our actions because we ourselves are such hard critics, and we have not learned to give space for imperfection, to give space for learning, for sucking, you know, before we become masters. And I think your true audience, the people who actually truly appreciate your art or your creations or your actions or who you are, your true real audience most likely does not care as much as you think about your flaws and your mistakes. And if they do, and they give you constructive criticism without the constructive, my previous statement still stands. They haven't even started climbing, okay? But anyways, getting out of that tangent, all of this is a tangent, honestly. Let's talk about how your art is like, it's more like a dam, you know, or like the artistic process is more like a dam. I was just watching this video about somebody, or some people, I guess, emptying or opening a dam in Iran after 30 years. So this dam starts off with gunk full of sand, mud, and other like dirty, solid things that come out for a while. And then as the video goes on, it becomes less and less solid and more liquid, and you start to actually see the water coming out. And I think this is the same with your art and your creations. Gunk and dirt is gonna flow out first, and the more you keep pushing, keep showing up, and keep learning, the better and better you're going to be, and the better and better your art is going to be, and the easier and easier it's going to be for art and different ideas and inspiration and all that stuff to flow through you. But first you've got to get through that stage where it's literally birds' nests and branches and mud and sand and soot that is coming out, because before the water can come out, the soot has to first come out, because you are working against years and years of trauma. You are working against years and years of self-doubt. You are working... Okay, girl, don't be dramatic. Hello? You are working against years and years of negative talk by your friends, family, society about creation and artists and an artist's life and an artist's value, especially within this capitalist hellscape we live in. You're working against all these negative factors that are sitting inside of you, and that art is sitting under all that negative self-talk, all that negative view of an artist's life. So in order for the art and the creation and the inspiration and the divine relationship between inspiration and creation to flow out of you, you first have to get rid of that gunk. And that just might be a couple of months or sometimes even years of art, you know, bad to art. And eventually you'll get better and better at it. A lot of times what happens is you won't start liking your art until you've made a bunch of it. You're not going to like your music usually until maybe the second or the third EP or album. You're not going to start believing that your poems touch people until you've written your 400th one. You won't think your sculptures are any good until you've made 50. And this is how you finally get to see the art that you dream of making, by making all this art to get rid of the gunk first in order to get to that flow state of, oh my gosh, I love my art. I'm inspired by this, and I make it, and it turns out just like it is in my head. Before you get to that state, you have to suck. You have to suck. And honestly, for example, another example, you may not like how you paint until your 500th painting, but honestly, somebody might fall in love with your second painting. A lot of times with music, especially, people love an artist's earlier work more than they do their recent, more commercialized work. I think that it's because they feel that it had more originality to it, or a specific raw element that attracted them to that music. However, how it usually happens is that raw element or originality that the audience loves so much in an artist's earlier work, the artists themselves hate that aspect of their earlier work because they see the flaws, whereas the audience sees imperfect perfection. That speech impediment that you hate hearing when you're editing your videos is the same thing that makes you endearing to your audience. That part of the song that you don't think you mixed well is somebody's favorite part of that same song. A flaw that you see in your work is just an intrinsic part of the work to your audience. They don't see that, oh gosh, I messed up on that brush stroke, or oh gosh, I messed up on that. I don't even know what tools you use for sculpting, but the little scrapey tool that they use to take away the clay, oh gosh, I went too deep over there. They're not going to see that. They're going to see it as an artistic, stylistic choice. No, for real. Because whether the audience sees it as positive, negative, or neutral, in the end, it just adds to the work. It adds character to the work. It adds grit. Is that the word? Is that the correct way of using that word? I don't know. Don't care. But this whole video is not to discourage you from striving for excellence and making edits when need be. It's through striving for excellence that you get better. They work together, striving for excellence and allowing yourself to make flaws while striving for excellence is how you get better at things. But this video is to also prevent you from not publishing something because you think it's bad. Your work is never going to be perfect. Perfection is fleeting and it means something to everyone. And even if you reach that point of perfection, the world is too complicated and intricate to let you keep that state of perfection. That just doesn't happen in nature. You're going to experience more. You're going to desire more. You're going to be more. And that perfection is no longer going to be perfect. You let go of perfection and embrace who you are right now so that you can have the space to advance. You judge yourself through the lenses of a master, and that is not what you are yet. Share that short story. Upload those pair of pants that you made to Instagram, to Tumblr, Pinterest. Make a video of your sketches, good or bad. This is getting the gunk out of the way. This is climbing Cringe Mountain. What are you going to share today?